Okay, and we're back here, so let's continue by building up the layers. Now, let's talk a little bit about technique when you're doing multiple paintings at once. Let me carry this one to the same area here, right? Let's turn on some of these more detailed stuff. We gotta decide, okay, we have a very short amount of time to get the two paintings out, right? This is not a 1 or 2 day painting here. We got to do these very quickly. So sometimes you only have the morning time to do them, and they're due in the afternoon because your client's waiting for approval, right? So they want to choose a direction for you to go. So you got to play your cards right. You got to know where to put in the details. A painting like this, at this point, for example, doesn't read. It reads as an overall thing, but it's nowhere to grab your eye attention. So you don't want to be spending time over here and over here and over here detailing these areas out because it's a waste of your time. The selling point of this painting is right here and a little bit over here. So you want to focus, if you have to choose where to put a detail, all in this area. This is where you want the viewer's eye to go for both images. Okay, so it's important to create contrast, detail, and light in these areas. So in this case, we have contrast, and eventually we'll add detail. The same thing here, we have high contrast. You see this darker value in front of a lighter value creates nice contrast. So let's go back to this one. So all this kind of stuff I've talked about before in the previous tutorials. I'm starting to fog this set out because to give it that creepy, just kind of in the hazy fog, very haunted type of look here by heavily fogging the set. So the buildings back here go into a very light value and silhouette. Okay. Boom, let's turn on some more layers. I added some mountains, cleaned up some of the river here, but still haven't added any details yet. Right? You can see from going from this kind of photo background to here, we're just purely working with values here. Right, here's a line drawing once again. Boom, boom. Okay, let's take a look at this one as well. So here I'm still preparing some of the canvas, you can see, but still very rough. You can see here the contrast starting to show up. This one we're using high value contrast. You see light on dark to balance the shape. In this one, we're using sort of a value as well as color. See, everything else here is very gray. By bringing some of that red, that kind of creepy Silent Hill rust red color into here, whereas the background is gray, this also creates a sense of contrast. But always, if you turn the black and white layer, we have value to balance that out. Especially here, when I brighten up the sky a little bit, you can see the value starts to work for this building. All right, so both are again done at the same time. I'm working on these at the exact same time to show students how we multitask. Paint here, go back to paint over here. So this is starting to work pretty well as a value. So at this point, we could then add the details. Boom! I start painting in some of the roofs. And this is a quick step thing here. I normally don't rely on photo textures until later, until my painting is almost at a finishing stage in terms of value. But in this case, it's such a quick painting. Boom, let's just slap in some windows. Let's slap in some of those creepy, what do you call those, asylum type of windows, it's almost like jail looking things, And this is just from my reference library, which I have literally thousands and thousands of references of textures. More details. I'm actually doing this painting the whole time with the line drawing on, but reduced to say 50% or so. So this way I could see the design. Otherwise, because it's so loose, at this stage, it's really hard to add details, you see, because you have no idea what the heck is going on over here. It's like, what the heck is this? So you leave the line drawing in, so at least I could see some of the stuff. So I could see, oh, there's a tower here, there's windows, there's a bridge over here with some trees and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I take the line drawing out eventually, but up to this point here, I'm still relying on the line drawing to hold some of the details. And then we just start adding details and details. These low lights I actually added in as a suggestion to tell a story. Because without these low lights, it's kind of boring. The scene looks kind of dead. I think by adding these little orange lights in here, it actually makes it quite creepy. Because it's a haunted scene here, right? So it's just some of the lights are on, so the audience start to wonder, or the player, what the heck is going on in there. So let's go back to this one for a second here. Let's turn on the line drawing as well. As you can see, same drawing, same design. I used those line drawings to start indicating the roof of this building, which is all covered in snow. So you gotta kind of plan out your design a little bit. Snow obviously falls from above or from upward angle, obviously. So all the roofs and stuff are gonna get hit by the snow, and then all these kind of balcony areas and all these will get hit by snow. So you gotta plan where the snowfall works, because snow is very high contrast. It's typically very bright value, white or light gray. So you can use that to your advantage. In this case, I want to use the white in these areas to really help balance my composition. You can see how this all kind of come in, right? Very, very nice contrast. So if you have a nice white here, you could balance it with some white over here. So again, the material in this case is helping with my composition. Let's go here, darken up the value a little bit more because this building wasn't reading well. You can see if I zoom in here at this level, this surface versus this surface are actually facing two different directions, but they share very similar value. You see it's turned to black and white. So what I want to do is I want to make sure, go back to the basics of a cube. All right, to turn a form, you need 3 values, and so in this case, we need one value to be different here than here to turn the form. So the human eye makes a visual distinction between this surface versus this one in the direction that they face. Okay, so that's what it does. So even though these are quick paintings, the basic fundamentals have to be applied. You can't rush these things. You can't be like, oh, I'm just gonna do whatever, right? You still have to apply all those kind of fundamental techniques. Here I'm fogging it out further because this building is quite far away, and also the orange light was very, very strong in this case. In a foggy environment like this light, especially reds, yellows, and these colors don't travel that far. So you have to then desaturate them down a little bit to get a little bit of realism in there. Let's go back to this one. Same thing here. We added the windows in, boom, boom, boom. From a texture, we changed the design slightly, so might as well try to pitch that in your design, right? So we're offering very quick paintings, even though the overall thing is the same. They still have a slight different design to them. You can see here we actually designed some kind of grander entrance. This one's a little bit different in terms of design, right? So you kind of get a color palette across as well as design. And now let's do some cleanup. See, at this point, this painting is almost starting to get tightened up, which is enough for presentation. That is not as a finished painting, but almost enough. Where the line drawing, you can start letting it go. Okay. Here I'm creating further contrast. Again, remember what we talked about earlier, which is the focal point. We want to make sure this is the focal point. So this layer, darken up this area here to push this out. Boom. Let me see. So. In these type of entertainment, I guess paintings, right? I'm not going for a piece of artwork here, which is everything is very finely balanced and there's very even values, all stuff. When we create, especially this type of pieces, which is entertainment value, where you're trying to tell a story very clearly, because the end result is not this artwork here, right? This is not a piece of art we're looking at. This is a device, a vessel to move forward in production. So it serves a certain purpose, right? When the production, for example, if this is actually a video game, when the game is done, this piece of painting is useless to the production. You can throw it away, you can do whatever you want with it, because it served this use. It moved on. The game is the ultimate product. So high contrast and making things read, make your eye go to a certain point is very important. There's not much time for you to go in here and go, hey, if you look really close, I put all these crazy details in here for whoever the viewer is. In most cases, just no such time to do that. If you work full time in a studio, maybe, but in these kind of quick paintings, these kind of presentation type things where you're trying to get feedback from clients, and there's just no time to get into that kind of level of detail. Okay, and so this high contrast stuff works really well for entertainment type of paintings. Again, you're trying to sell design. You're not trying to sell the art. Okay. Here I add some just flying debris. It's kind of creepy area. Want to put some movement. These lot of flying things, if you can't see, I'll zoom in here. Boom. Okay. They kind of give the painting some movement. Let me take a drink here if we can talking way too much without taking a break. Okay, so if you're watching this for the first time, hopefully you know that I'm trying to keep this quite casual, so it's not a very precise thing where we say cut and then re-edit. Okay, so I'm just gonna take these as we go. Anyways, these little flaky stuff that's flying around, add some motion to this, and that gives them some atmosphere, like there's some wind moving around. You can see here I'm just kind of throwing some of those in there, right? Very quick.